Hello guys, one more time and welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and here today I'm a little bit more elegant than usual because I'm celebrating the second year anniversary of Ring Royalty. It's been 2 years already, can you believe that? I mean, isn't it crazy? Something that I love about this channel is that I've been able to express all of my thoughts about women's wrestling, and for that reason I decided to celebrate my 2-year anniversary talking about an underrated division, the TNA Knockouts or Impact Wrestling Knockouts division. And that's why I will be honoring the 15 years of existence in the Knockouts division, doing a video of the best knockout of each year, starting in 2007, the year the division was born, until 2021, and obviously I'll give my predictions for 2022. Without anything left to say, let's start the ride in the Impact Wrestling Knockouts division. To open up the list in 2007, there is no other knockout that could be here than Gail Kim, the pioneer of the Knockouts division. She started the year fighting for a division in TNA because there wasn't one. There were already 5 women there, but they were mostly managers or valets. She started a grudge feud with Jacqueline. They had bangers like the bull rope match, the steel cage match, but there still wasn't a division or anything these women could achieve until at Bound for Glory, after fighting so much backstage to get a women's division, it was finally born. They made a 10 knockout gauntlet match to crown the first ever Knockouts champion, which Gail Kim obviously won, defeating Roxy Laveau last and becoming the first ever champion in the TNA women's division. That is a monumental event. I mean, Gail Kim came from a lackluster WWE run, then moved to TNA, and she was the pioneer of this Knockouts division. She fought for it and she became the first champion. She got an awesome title defense at Genesis that same year, defeating Angelina Love, ODB, and Roxy in a fatal 4-way match. And later in the year, she began the feud that revolutionized women's wrestling. I'm talking about Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. That brutal brawl that they had during the Knockouts Christmas workshop match was fantastic, and it's just so amazing to think how Gail Kim changed her career path moving from WWE to TNA. She completely slayed the game. Gail Kim was a very complete and technical wrestler. She was gaining a lot of popularity in Impact Wrestling, and becoming the first champion was just the first step of her legendary career in this company. That same year, she also won the award for Knockout of the Year, obviously, so there's no other way that we can open up this list of the best knockouts from each year than with Gail Kim. For 2008, we're gonna talk about Gail Kim's arch rival, her nemesis, Awesome Kong. Ever since China, there wasn't this big, muscular, and prominent monster that terrorized most of the women in the company, but Awesome Kong was just that. She had an amazing and epic street fight with Gail Kim at Final Resolution in January, and this is when all eyes landed on the Knockouts division. Gail and Kong completely changed what women's wrestling was at the time, and this was only the beginning. Just 2 weeks after that spectacular no disqualification match that Kong lost, she got her retribution on Gail Kim, aligning herself with Raisha Saeed to win the Knockouts Championship for the first time in her career after a triple awesome bomb on the champion. We all knew it was just a matter of time for Kong to win the championship, but the way they did it and how dominant she looked, and now she has this ballet by her side, it was picture perfect. Awesome Kong's reign started so awesomely, no pun intended, and after that she completely demolished the whole Knockouts division. There was absolutely nobody that could step in her way. Nobody even looked like a threat or a credible contender because Kong was just unstoppable. There's no other way to say it. TNA became her empire. After squashing many women like Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, Christy Hemme, Salinas, she defended the title against the 2 most credible contenders, Gail Kim and ODB, in a triple threat match, defeating them both. When no competition was left, Awesome Kong began to do open challenges for women in the audience. This was a great way to elevate Kong a little bit more and not bury the rest of the division, so that was a smart thinking by TNA. And also it was a fantastic way to introduce Taylor Wilde, a newcomer that would later become Awesome Kong's new rival. I think the matches between Kong and Wilde were just so fantastic because the chemistry was there. Kong's first reign ended in July when Taylor Wilde took the title away from her, but in October Kong got it back from her. And that's how Awesome Kong won the rivalry between her and Taylor Wilde. once again stating that she was at the peak of the mountain. Not content with that, she also started a new stable named the Entourage with her already partner Raisha Saeed and newcomers Raka Khan and Sojourner Bolt. What else can you ask for? She was simply unique. Her presence was felt in the arena as soon as her entrance music hit, and the way that she was very agile and fast despite being big, it was such a plus for everyone. Her moveset was fantastic, she got awesome rivalries, and now she was the leader of a new heel faction. So Awesome Kong in 2008 was definitely what we needed in women's wrestling. She slayed the game for sure. For 2009, I'm choosing someone that was in WWE at the beginning of the year, but in May, she made her debut in TNA. I'm talking about Tara. In May, Tara shook the world by becoming the first woman ever to jump ships from WWE to TNA in the span of 3 months. As soon as she arrived, she was ready to beat the hell out of the Knockouts. Her first real feud began when she interrupted Angelina Love and the Beautiful People segment. I think this was a great way to introduce Tara because the Beautiful People were mean girls. They were a very good heel stable, and that's what Tara needed to go over as the top babyface of the women's division. After defeating Rain and Sky in singles matches, she earned a championship match against Angelina Love, and in July she won the first Knockouts championship of her career after a widow's peak. It was a very memorable moment. She would lose the title shortly after in the rematch at Slammiversary against Love, but they both share a very awesome match. That's what's important. Also, her character development began to be Spider Lady, and that's how Poison was introduced, that is Tara's pet tarantula. I think it added a lot to her character because she would basically terrorize the women she faced by putting the spider on their limp bodies when they were defeated. That happened to Velvet Sky, that happened to Madison Rayne. So I think it was a great way to develop Tara's character. It was very nice, something that kind of WWE started with the spider logos and the spider outfits, but they never really told us why. Later in the year, Tara would also participate at Bound for Glory, the biggest event of the company, challenging ODB for the Knockouts Championship in a match that also featured Awesome Kong, a triple threat all-star match. The match was very interesting and it left a bitter taste when Tara and Kong both lost, blaming each other for not being able to capture the title, which set another fantastic match, which was Tara against Awesome Kong at Turning Point in a steel cage match. You're gonna notice this trend now, but Impact Wrestling love steel cage women's matches, and I'm all for it. After getting rid of Awesome Kong, Tara won a Battle Royal to become the #1 contender, and just a few weeks before the year ended, she faced ODB for the Knockouts Championship and won it at Final Resolution, the second championship in Tara's TNA career in only 1 year. I feel like the hype Tara got as soon as she arrived in TNA was so awesome, considering that she was jobbing probably the last 2 or 3 years she was with WWE. So this gave her more credibility as a singles competitor, or maybe regain the credibility that she used to have in the Attitude Era. I am so happy that Tara could bounce back and get a well-deserved run in TNA and the respect of the fans, because she's truly a legend. Let's continue now with 2010, and for this year I'm choosing Madison Rayne. It was a shocker to me to remember how awesome Madison Rayne's 2010 year was. Come on, Madison Rayne was absolutely everywhere in TNA during 2010. As part of the Beautiful People in March, she got her first taste at gold by winning a triple threat tag team match alongside Velvet Sky to become Knockouts Tag Team Champions. This is the first time Madison Rayne won a title, and I think it was very interesting the way it all developed, because a lot of people thought the Beautiful People would sink in when Angelina Love left, but no, Madison Rayne stepped up and I think she delivered pretty good. And if you didn't trust her then, she completely changed your mind, I'm sure, at the Lockdown pay-per-view when she defeated Tara and Angelina Love alongside Velvet Sky again in a winner-take-all for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships and the Knockouts Championship, becoming the first woman ever to hold both titles at the same time. Later on, they will apply the Freebird rule. For that reason, Lacey Von Erich became the tag champ with Velvet, and Madison Rayne would remain the Knockouts champion. Although Velvet Sky had more time in TNA, and as part of the Beautiful People, you could slowly see Madison Rayne transitioning from just a member to the leader of the stable. And Madison Rayne also achieved something that a lot of people don't remember, and it is the career killer gimmick. She would put her title on the line as long as their contenders offered something, and this something was their careers. That's how Madison Rayne defeated Tara at the Sacrifice pay-per-view and retired her from TNA. She did the exact same thing to Roxy at Slammiversary, retiring her from TNA competition. That one was for real. And then she convinced Angelina Love to put her career on the line again at the Victory Road pay-per-view. With lawsuits, special stipulations, and many shenanigans, she was able to win the championship 2 more times. She became 3 times Knockouts champion just in 2010. Can you believe that? She won the title 3 times. I mean, I know some people would say that maybe it's not that memorable because the reigns weren't very lengthy. I think the first one was, but it is still something that counts later in the history books. The development that Madison had from January to December was something unbelievable. And it's worthy to mention how she just transitioned from one knockout in the locker room to one of the main faces of the division in less than a year. That's something we should respect. Knockouts Tag Team Champion, 3 times Knockouts Champion, she got her alliance with Tara, she completely overshadowed Velvet Sky and Lacey Von Erich in The Beautiful People. This was Madison Rayne's year. In 2011, I'm choosing another former WWE superstar, and that is Hardcore Country Mickie James. Hardcore Country was born in TNA, honey, and she began the year by feuding with the top star of the previous year, Madison Rayne. They had a trilogy of matches, the first one on January at Genesis. It was a fantastic match, but it was just a standard singles match. Then at Against All Odds in February, it became the first ever Last Knockout Standing match, another banger for the collection. And every time that Madison Rayne found a way to win by cheating, Mickie James kept coming back and back. That's how the end of the trilogy happened at Lockdown, where Mickie would put her hair on the line against the Queen Bee and surprisingly would defeat her in less than 2 minutes inside the steel cage to win her first Knockouts championship. Madison Rayne made Mickie James' life a living hell for about 4 months, and it was time Mickie got some retribution. Everybody was happy to see her as the new Knockouts champion, and a lot of people were very happy also that Madison Rayne put over Mickie James after defeating her in the first 2 matches that they had. And then she began a feud with a very strange Winter. And their feud was something that elevated the Knockouts division. They gave us one very memorable match. It was a street fight on Impact Wrestling. I really enjoy how vicious and physical the Knockouts wrestling was back then, especially street fights. And I think Mickie and Winter had a lot of chemistry. They had 2 pay-per-view matches at Hardcore Justice and No Surrender, and they had this hot potato moment for a while. Nonetheless, this situation gave Mickie James her second title victory in this year, and that was something very nice. She stayed as a prominent figure around the title picture, feuding with the likes of Madison Rayne and Winter for a little bit longer, until there was no official contender for Gail Kim, who returned from her second WWE run, and Mickie James won, became the Iron Woman, let's say that first, and won a 10-women gauntlet match to win the #1 contendership spot. And that's how she entered a feud with the new top dog of the division, Gail Kim, which would give us memorable matches like the one at Final Resolution in December, and made us forget about that horrible Divas Championship match they had on Raw. Remember that? I think 2011 was for sure the year that Mickie James established herself as one of the most important wrestlers in TNA. And it is very valid that we showcase all of that in this list as the top women in 2011. And in 2012, I gotta go with someone that was previously mentioned in the list. She slayed the game, what can we do? I'm talking about Gail Kim one more time. Similar to what happened in 2007, she came back from a dreadful WWE run and completely revitalized her career by becoming both Knockouts Tag Team Champion and Knockouts Champion. She began the year 2012 as a double champion, and her alliance with Karen Jarrett and Madison Rayne was something that made everybody crazy. They were mad. Gail Kim was just so annoying. She was this protected heel that was unbeatable because of all the shenanigans that were going on around her. She had her sidekick Madison. She has the authority figure by her side in Karen Jarrett, the VP of the Knockout, and basically was untouchable. Nobody could touch Gail Kim. Her Knockouts title reign lasted 210 days, and she defeated absolutely everyone that stepped in her way, from Mickie James to Brooke Tessmacher, Velvet Sky, and absolutely everyone in the Knockouts division. My two favorite title defenses from this title reign were the one against all odds against Tara, I think it was very well done, and also the one against Velvet Sky at Lockdown. It was also a very nice match inside the steel cage. Gail Kim completely dominated everyone. She eventually would lose the championship to Brooke Tessmacher, but that didn't stop her from being basically the face of the Knockouts division once more. She would also establish a record with the 210 days title reign and become the longest champion in history up to this point. Interesting to see Gail Kim in the mix this time around and having title defenses against multiple women, not only one rivalry or two rivalries. She had at least 5 different contenders. And another thing we have to applaud is that Gail had great matches with absolutely everyone that she stepped in the ring with. This is when we start to realize how awesome of a wrestler Gail Kim actually is, how technical she is, and how much WWE wasted her talent and potential. So Gail Kim definitely took back her spot at the top in TNA in 2012. In 2013, I'm choosing newcomer in the Knockouts division, Taryn Terrell. Let's state something before I talk about Taryn Terrell. 2013 was a very rough time in TNA. They already transitioned to Impact Wrestling by now, but it was difficult because they were having a lot of management problems. There was even an alert of bankruptcy, and at some point fans believed that Impact Wrestling would be done by the end of the year. Thankfully that never happened, but there was a lot of inconsistency, especially in the Knockouts division during this year. The division was literally 5 women. And Taryn Terrell started the year as a referee. And it was so interesting the way that she was introduced as a referee, but they were slowly building a rivalry between her and Gail Kim, how Gail would blame her every time that she lost the match. And it was so great to see how Taryn Terrell started with the professionalism of a referee and was slowly giving into the anger that she was building towards Gail until she snapped. Then she would be fired as a referee but hired as a TNA knockout and would beat the hell out of Gail Kim one more time. It was so great that a veteran like Gail Kim decided to work with Taryn Terrell. She's a stunt double in real life, so she isn't afraid to take risks. And that's how we got a historic match in women's wrestling. And I'm talking about the last women's standing match between Gail and Taryn Terrell at Slammiversary. This was a vicious match from beginning to end. These two literally looked like they hated each other, and the ending is still one of the most spectacular finishes I've seen in any women's match in history. That cutter from the ramp down to the floor was just an awesome way for Taryn to win the match, and that was a surprising thing for everyone, to see Taryn Terrell going over Gail Kim at Slammiversary. But Gail would get her rematch not long after that moment, and it was in a ladder match. Another very physical, ambitious match. Taryn Terrell's rookie year in Impact Wrestling was unlike any other. She had so many extreme matches, extreme spots, and I think the crowd was so behind her because she's really charismatic and she was not afraid to take bumps and to go over the edge. She was always pushing her limits, and that's how hard work paid off for her. I think from Tiffany in WWE, just being Kelly's sidekick and the ECW manager that just smiled and did basically nothing in the ring, to these badass women that was beautiful but at the same time could kick ass. That's why she connected so fast with the fans, and that's how she earned her spot as one of the best knockouts in history. At the beginning I talked about the inconsistency of this year, but for sure the one that stuck out the most during this year was Taryn Terrell, the newcomer that from the shadows of a referee became the butterfly of the company, one of the biggest and brightest names in the Knockouts division. And in 2014, I will be choosing one of my favorites, Angelina Love. Angelina Love returned when the division really needed her. We're talking about the time where there was not enough budget to have many knockouts. There were barely 5 or 6 in the division, and Angelina Love returning actually gave all of us a refreshing atmosphere in the Knockouts division. And she returned in the best way possible. First, she faked to be a babyface, and then she convinced Velvet Sky to betray Madison Rayne, turning heel in the process and becoming the OG Beautiful People. Velvet and Angelina were back full force, and this is the best Beautiful People we can ask for, the OG members as heels. Angelina works so well as a heel, she's fantastic in the ring, her promos are fire, she knows how to rile up the crowd, and I think facing Madison Rayne, who was the Knockouts champion at the time, as her first feud back was a smart way to book Angelina's return. Angelina brought the star power that the division needed, and she defeated Madison Rayne at Sacrifice that year to win her 6th Knockouts championship, becoming the first woman ever to win the title 6 times, the one with most reigns for a long while actually. After becoming champion and having Velvet by her side, the reign of terror started in the Knockouts division. Mean Girls full force. Now her feud with Madison Rayne wasn't the only amusing one she had this year. Then she began a feud against Gail Kim, having multiple title matches against her. The one that I would highlight is the last Knockout standing match on Impact. I think it was great. I love the spot where Angelina Love gave Gail Kim a Botox injection through the steel chair. It was fantastic. Like, that spot stuck in my mind for years. It was so great. After losing the championship, her and Velvet began an alliance with the Bromans, which was something super funny and comical, kind of like the 24/7 championship segments, but at the same time they delivered great matches in the ring. We had 2 hot chicks and 2 hot dudes. It was kind of like a Jersey Shore crossover with Mean Girls, like a revamp of Hot Couples, Acapulco Shore. I don't know how to explain it, but it really worked, both as characters and in ring matches. So I couldn't ask for anything else. Definitely Angelina Love provided a lot of entertainment and great matches during 2014. In 2015, alongside Gail Kim, there is another woman that would make her second appearance in this top, and there is Taryn Terrell. Oh my god. Taryn Terrell character development during 2015 was magical. She became the Knockouts champion by the end of 2014, and the whole 2015 was Taryn Terrell's year for sure. She began as a babyface champion who would later become a heel leader of a stable and champion, and that was something nobody expected but everybody needed. She stated a new record by holding the championship for 279 days, having 10 title defenses during this year, which is a lot if you think about it. And the most memorable one for me was at Knockouts Knockdown, where she faced Awesome Kong in a no disqualification match. That surprised the world because Taryn Terrell joined forces with newcomers Jade and Marty Bell, the Dollhouse, forming a heel stable, putting Kong through a table, which gave Taryn Terrell the opportunity to retain her championship. After that, she was a pain in the ass, but the pain in the ass that we need. She was so great on the mic, her heel work was so fantastic. She was this type of delusional heel that wanted to base everything on looks again and would clash with the beliefs of wrestlers like Awesome Kong or Gail Kim, who were more about female wrestling, empowering women wrestling, not because of their looks. I think it was sort of like a beautiful people kind of vibe, but with a more twisted, sadistic, and delusional elements in this team. Another great title defense that she had happened on another steel cage match. You see what I'm talking about with Impact and steel cages, taking her ring and breaking her finger, kayfabe obviously, but that added a lot to Taryn Terrell's character. To be honest, for everyone's surprise, Taryn Terrell turned out to be one of the best knockouts in wrestling history. And we could have never seen that coming from her WWE run. She ruled the game, her character was simply on point. Her outfits were great, the promos delivered, and the matches were good too. So the peak of her career for me happened in 2015. Taryn Terrell was unbeatable, and there was absolutely anyone that could compare to her in the Knockouts division. And for 2016, I might get criticized for this pick, but I think it's well deserved, at least in my eyes. I'm choosing Maria Kanellis Bennett. She definitely was the most entertaining knockout during 2016. She didn't wrestle much, that is true, but she was absolutely in every segment. She was on everyone's bad side. She was absolutely pissing off the crowd every time that her entrance music hit. She was reminding everyone that she was the first lady of professional wrestling and the VP of the Knockouts. After Karen Jarrett and Vicky Guerrero, Maria Kanellis is just right there as the heel authority that people despised. And that means she was doing her job perfectly. We also gotta talk about Maria's smart booking in Impact Wrestling, because she began a feud in February when she debuted against Gail Kim, but it was a feud that would extend for over 6 months. 6 months in the making, Gail Kim trying to get Maria's ass in the ring, and Maria would always find a way to escape. And that's what we needed, because we knew when these two square off, it will be a sweet moment or sweet revenge for Gail Kim. As the highlights of her career there, she became the VP of the Knockouts by winning a ladder match, which included 6 other women. She also was the leader of the Lady Squad, which featured Ali, Sienna, and later on Laurel Van Ness. And when Ali wasn't useful anymore, at least in Maria's eyes, she turned out to be the stepsister that nobody wants. Maria treated Ali like trash, and when Ali accidentally won the Knockouts Championship, Maria made her lay down and won the championship from her, winning the title for the first and only time in her career. Having Maria as champion, knowing that she wasn't really wrestling anymore and she was just doing shenanigans and segments, it was something that added so much to her character, because everybody wanted to see Gail Kim kick Maria's ass and win the title from her. They gave us a street fight, which was very nice. Maria showed a couple surprising moves like a spine buster. I wasn't expecting that. But overall, the in-ring performance of Maria wasn't really heavy in this year, but her character work was something I haven't seen in a long time. Something that I haven't really enjoyed so much from a heel authority in a long time. I mean, what can I say? She barely had any matches, but she was more entertaining than the rest of the Knockouts combined. In 2017, we have a unique entity, and I'm talking about the mother of the Hive, Rosemary. It was so amazing to see this type of character in the women's division, because we haven't really seen this sort of like dark presence in a women's division before. I don't think we have, at least. Probably Daphne was the closest one, but she was more like a goth queen rather than just an entity. Her uniqueness helped her popularity rise to the top in no time. She had an awesome title reign, an awesome feud with Jade, aka Mia Jim, having a trilogy, but the 2 most important matches in my book happened in 2017. The first one was the Monsters Ball in January, where we saw just how aggressive both of these competitors could be. And the last one to close the feud happened a couple weeks after the Monsters Ball, this time in a last women's standing match. The way Rosemary F5 or connected her red wedding, that's her finisher, to knock Jade out completely, it was just a great way to close the feud. Later on, she would start an alliance with Ali, which was adorable. At first I thought it was odd. They began a tag team feud with Sienna and Laurel Van Ness, which would later develop into a one-on-one feud between Rosemary and Sienna. Sienna was the GFW Women's Champion, Rosemary was the Knockouts Champion, and they had a unification match in the Slammiversary pay-per-view, which surprisingly Rosemary lost, but nonetheless the match was fantastic, it was top-notch. And right after that, Rosemary asked for a rematch and she got it in another last knockout standing match. This was even more brutal than the one that she had with Jade. Trash cans, tables, thumbtacks, everything was used in the match, and I just couldn't be happier to see the new generation of knockouts shining bright, and Rosemary for me was at the forefront of this new generation. She was later chosen to elevate newcomer Taya Valkyrie in Impact Wrestling. They had a lot of interesting interactions. Rosemary was missing Taya every chance she got. Unfortunately, their first blood match at Bound for Glory was cancelled. Such a shame, because I don't remember seeing in a big promotion a first blood match between 2 women. And just talking about the variety of things Rosemary did during this year is enough to put her at the top of my list. She was Knockouts Champion, she was the mother of the Hive, she was in an alliance with Ali, she had great feuds, she was talking like a maniac, but everybody was listening to her because she was so unique and entertaining. So she completely deserved the spot of the top women in 2017. And when it comes to 2018, another controversial entry, at least I think it would be, I'm talking about Tessa Blanchard. She debuted in April, having 2 very amusing matches with another newcomer in Kiera Hogan, especially the one which was a no disqualification match, and you could already see how good Tessa Blanchard was in the ring just from these 2 matches alone. And this is something that Impact Wrestling has done so well, and I think most of the fans that watch Impact have noticed, is that they are so great at building new stars. You need variety, and building new stars like Impact Wrestling is doing, and more specifically, what they did with Tessa is the way to succeed in wrestling, at least in my eyes. Her first pay-per-view victory happened against Ali at Slammiversary, and not even 4 months after her debut in July, she defeated Ali and Su Yung in a triple threat match to become the Knockouts champion. It was so fast, but it was well deserved. Tessa displayed so many athletic moves and hard-hitting moves that we haven't seen in the roster for a while. So I think it was very necessary that she became the Knockouts champion, because she had the charisma, she had the in-ring talent, and definitely she had a bright future in the company. She had many title defenses against the likes of Fabi Apache and Su Yung, but my favorite one has to be the one at Bound for Glory, the most important event of the year obviously, against Taya Valkyrie, defeating her with the Magnum. The Buzzsaw, the Hammerlock DDT, wasn't able to put Taya away, so Tessa had to look for a new way to finish her. And that was Magnum, a top rope code breaker. That finisher alone is enough to give her the top spot. It is so awesome, visually pleasuring. Oh my god, I popped so hard when Tessa Blanchard retained the title with that move. At the end of the year, she won the award for Knockout of the Year, but more important than that, I just want to point out how Tessa Blanchard solidified herself as not only one of the best knockouts in Impact Wrestling, but one of the best wrestlers in Impact Wrestling, period. And I think it was proven when Tessa Blanchard later on, not in 2018, I'm going a little bit off topic, won the Men's World Championship from Sami Callihan. So to sum it up, once again, another rocky year, this time from Tessa, was the highlight of the year in the Knockouts division. And I have absolutely no complaints of her run in 2018. In 2019, I'm choosing La Güera Loca, Taya Valkyrie. She really came into her own during her championship reign. Why? Because she was champion the whole damn year, winning the title in January against Tessa Blanchard at Homecoming and retaining the title every single month until 2020. It was so awesome what she accomplished that year. I mean, let's be honest. Taya Valkyrie was already good in the ring, people knew that, but she reached a new level in this year. She still holds the record for the longest Knockouts Championship title reign with 377 days. This is the current record. I don't really see anybody beating that record anytime soon. And she had so many great title defenses. The first one against Tessa Blanchard in a street fight at Mexico. She also had that Monsters Ball Fatal 4-Way match defeating Havoc, Su Yung, and Rosemary at Slammiversary. That was grueling, vicious, and it was so weird to see, but I'm pleased anyways, to see Taya Valkyrie go over Su Yung, Rosemary, and Havoc, who are Ministry of Dark entities. And she's just La Güera Loca, but I mean, she succeeded. That was great. She also defended the title against Jordynne Grace and managed to defeat Tenille Dashwood, the newcomer, at Bound for Glory for the Knockouts Championship. It was so great everything that Taya Valkyrie accomplished, just because she had many different opponents, just like we have seen this trend with previous Knockouts champions. Impact books the Knockouts so well. I just can't understand why some other companies, WWE and AEW, can't book the women's division consistently. She began as a babyface champion who turned heel halfway through her reign. Just seeing Taya Valkyrie develop her heel persona so well was something else. Oh my god, I cannot even describe it with words. She went from 1 to 100 in just 1 year span. And that's something not many people can get. She was champion the whole damn year. I mean, I'm still astonished. I haven't really seen, like, from January to December, someone that hold the title this long. I mean, what else can we say? She did a flawless job. This was her year. And obviously, at the end of the year, she received the award for the Knockout of 2019. I mean, well deserved as well. I just hope that Taya Valkyrie, now that she's back in Impact Wrestling, can reach that level again. Because, well, we know what happened with Frankie Monet and that, but no shade. This is about the knockouts, and the knockout of 2019 was Taya Valkyrie, without a doubt. Let's move to 2020, and I will choose the virtuosa Diana Purrazzo. From jobber in NXT to the Impact Knockouts World Champion in Impact Wrestling. What a change. 360-degree change in the career of Deonna Purrazzo. It was so unbelievable to see everything that she has accomplished, especially in her rookie year 2020, after the very underwhelming run she had in WWE. And a lot of people thought it was because of her. Maybe she wasn't charismatic enough, or she wasn't that good in the ring, and she proved everyone wrong and shut a lot of mouths after she arrived in Impact. Her technical ability is out of this world. Moves like the Venus de Milo, the Virtuosity, or even the Queen's Gambit, the Pile Driver. I think the Virtuoso gimmick was something that WWE didn't know how to portray, but it was very well represented in Impact Wrestling. She is this technical, smart, calculated woman that is going to do absolutely everything to destroy you slowly, because she enjoys suffering. In less than 6 months, she won the Impact Knockouts Championship twice, first at Slammiversary defeating Jordynne Grace, and later on she won the title at Turning Point by defeating Su Yung in a street fight. Both of the matches were top notch. And one title defense that she had in her first reign was against the former champion Jordynne Grace in a 30-minute Iron Women match, becoming the Iron Women of the Knockouts division, and in history. She was already a force to be reckoned with as a heel in Impact Wrestling alone, but when she aligned herself with Kimberly, she became even more unstoppable. At the end of the year, obviously, she won the award for Knockout of the Year 2020, but she also won the award for Wrestler of the Year overall, and that's a big deal. And that's something we have to applaud, because Deonna Purrazzo definitely made an impact in Impact. And that's just what happened. It was so fantastic. Everything that she did was flawless. There was no way anybody could criticize the wrestler that Deonna Purrazzo became during her first year in Impact. And not even first year, because she arrived at the time of Slammiversary, so that was about June, July. She only has 6 months to develop this fantastic character, became champion twice, and just shook the whole women's wrestling industry. Deonna Purrazzo did all of that in only 6 months. She's the living proof that some people just need an opportunity. And if that wasn't enough, 2021 was also the year of Deonna Purrazzo, at least for me. She made even more history in 2021. She became a double champion when she defeated Fabi Apache to win the Reina de Reinas championship from AAA, and she was the Knockouts champion at the same time. She also became the first Queen of Homecoming alongside Matthew Ripwald, which added even more arrogance to her already annoying character, and that was flawless. She transformed Su Yung into Susan and added her to her army. And then when they were not useful anymore, she betrayed both Susan and Kimberly, stating that she's the only one that mattered in that alliance, and is just so badass. She just ruled absolutely everything that she did. And we haven't really even talked about everything that she did as a champion yet. As the Knockouts champion, she ran through the entire division. She defeated Havoc, Rosemary, Jordynne Grace, Taya Valkyrie, and even some legends in Impact Wrestling. For example, Jazz, ODV, and NWA Empower. She also defeated Melina. Deonna Purrazzo was moving across many different promotions and ruling absolutely each and every one of them. And to top it all, she started a rivalry with Mickie James. That has to be rivalry of 2021 for sure. It was a grudge feud. The match that they had at Bound for Glory when Deonna finally lost the championship is must see, and they didn't even have a stipulation match that time. And I don't even know how, I mean, can you notice how excited I get just talking about everything that Deonna Purrazzo did in 2021? It was so unbelievable. And at the end of the year, she received the prize not only for Knockout of the Year one more time, because it was obvious she ruled everything, but she also won Knockouts Match of the Year alongside Mickie James for the Bound for Glory Showdown. Oh my god, Deonna Purrazzo, oh my god, I feel tired just talking about this. I got very passionate about it. But Deonna Purrazzo is just a superstar in her own right by now. And so far, the best year of her career has to be 2021. Close this video. I know we're only halfway through 2022, but I will give you my prediction who I think will be the knockout of this year, and I have to go with the current Impact Knockouts World Champion, Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz this year won the first ever, it's a historic event, Ultimate X match. Ultimate X was so awesome with men, and this is the first time ever they did it with women. It is not like any type of match we've seen in other promotions, so it is already memorable to participate in that match, but imagine winning the whole damn thing. She defeated the legendary Mickie James at Sacrifice to become the Knockouts champion for the first time in her career, and she has completely transitioned from a tag team competitor to a singles champion in her own right. It all happened quite fast. She was teaming with Kiera Hogan, Fire and Flavor last year, and she was seen only as a tag team competitor, and look at her now. Savannah Evans, more like a tag team partner, I see her as a bodyguard, and Tasha Steele is now ruling the singles division as the Knockouts champion. So we will see if she can hold on into this hype for the rest of the year or somebody else would step up. But for now, the Boricua Badass has to be my pick of Knockout of the Year in 2022. Alright, so this was my list of the best knockout from each year, from 2007 to 2022. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with my list or not. Did I miss anyone? I have to admit that compared to the WWE list I did earlier, both singles and tag teams, it was way more difficult for me to pick only one knockout, because usually you have 2 or 3 standing out every year. So I did my best. Try not to be that rude in the comments. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. My name is Alexis, as you already know. Here is my Instagram if you want to contact me or anything, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you everyone that was here from the beginning, by the way, because we are here in Ring Royalty and it's already the 2-year anniversary. This couldn't be possible without you. Thank you, and 1 million kisses to everyone watching this video. Goodbye.